Hello, everyone. This is Miss Alamo from sjspr.radio. And today we're in the studio live with parents, students, and teachers from the elementary division, third grade through sixth grade. They have been celebrating all week their STEAM week, developing projects in different areas like engineering, mathematics, art, science, and we're very proud to be able to come and have a conversation about how their week went. And we are here live from the Secondary Library and Media Center in St. John's School. So I have Shayla with me, Calderon. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she's going to serve as our host to talk with the students, with her daughter, and also other students from the class to see how it went for them. Thank you.
Good morning for everybody who's listening this morning. My name is Shayla Calderon. I'm one of the proud parents of elementary school student. I'm here this morning with my daughter, Emma Alvarez. She's a third grader. And I would love for her to tell us a little bit about her project today. Emma, you want to tell us about your project today? What was the title of the experiment?
A prokaryotic cell model.
A prokaryotic cell model. And have you learned what a prokaryotic cell is? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's a cell in your body that does not have a nucleus.
Does not have a nucleus. And this idea came from one of your teachers, and you've been working with a group of students from your grade and another grade as well. And how was this experience? Tell me what you loved about it. Did you get to create models?
Yes.
Can you tell us how you did that?
I created a model made out of clay, modeling clay, and
you were able to display the model to all the other students and explain to
Yes.
them what it was. Is this something that you would like to do again the following year?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think science is exciting?
Mhm.
You think so? Do you think you have learned quite a bit? You have
Yes.
learned how to create an exhibition as well from what you've
Mhm.
learned? Great. So I really hope that we get to this next year. We're very proud. And now, okay, thank you, Emma. And now we have here, can you tell us your name?
Sophia.
Sophia, what grade are you in?
Fourth.
Fourth grade. Can you tell us about your project?
We did a volcano, and one side of the volcano was affected badly, and one side was affected goodly.
Wow. And were you able to see the volcano erupt?
Yeah, one of them was with dry ice and hot water, and the other two were with baking soda, vinegar, and like 5 drops of food coloring.
Fantastic. And you work with other group of students as well?
Mhm.
And what other grades were in your group?
Third and fourth.
Third and fourth. And would you like now, since you've done this project, to continue doing something similar?
Yes.
Do you have an idea for next year what you want to do?
No.
Not yet. Is this a project you think has made you learn about how volcanoes work?
Yeah.
And has it made you more curious about science?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Awesome. I've seen other projects about volcanoes. So volcano was like a pretty popular theme, right, during this project.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Probably because volcanoes are like a source of nature
Yes.
and not a source of material.
Excellent. And it's a topic that we don't get to talk about every day, right?
Yeah.
And it's mysterious in some kind of way. And to this day, we are experiencing nature becoming stronger, right? So it's very important to understand nature and how it works so we can work with them.
Yep.
Correct? Lovely. Well, thank you so much, Sophia.
You're welcome.
And we have now, can you tell us your name?
Shane.
Shane. And what grade are you in, Shane?
Third.
Third grade. Are you happy with today's presentation?
Yes.
Yes. It's been a fun week?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell me the name of your project?
Magnificent.
Matt?
Magnificent.
Magnificent. Can you explain to me what your project was about?
We started with making a volcano, and we made it. We got like a piece of like I don't know how it's called, and with the cup on top, and then we took newspaper and wrapped it around, and then we used paper mache, and then we painted the volcano.
All right. And what have you learned about volcanoes during this exhibition?
I learned how they got created, and the types of ways they get created.
And did you learn how is that they erupt?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you get scared thinking about volcanoes?
No.
No. Now that you know more, you like it better, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to work on something related to volcanoes next year?
I don't know.
No. Have you visited a place, a country, an island where there is a volcano?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, we have volcanoes really, really nearby in the Caribbean. I did see another presentation that was talking about volcano present in St. Kitts, which is really nearby. So now that you learn about volcanoes, maybe we can go and visit them, right? That'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you, Shane. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Carlos.
Carlos. What grade are you in, Carlos?
Third.
Third grade. Can you tell me about your project? What was the name of the project?
Magnificent volcanoes.
Oh, so the same as Shane. Can you tell me what you did? What part of the project were you invested in?
We made a composite volcano with styrofoam, a triangle of styrofoam, a glass cup, and then we covered it in newspaper. And then we put paper mache that lasted like 2 days to dry. Then we had to paint the volcano. And then we made it erupt.
You made it erupt. Do you know the ingredients you get erupt?
We
Can you
used
tell
dry ice.
Dry ice.
I had to use gloves.
Yeah.
And we put water, and then it made it explode.
Excellent. So you used dry ice and water, and those two ingredients just made it erupt. Amazing. Did you put coloring on it?
No,
No.
we just made it.
So you had a lot of fun doing this project. Do you have any ideas of what next year?
I don't really know.
You don't know yet. You will be participating next year again of this
Yes.
STEAM week. You think it's a
Yes.
great fun activity?
Yes.
What about
Excellent.
your shirts? What about your shirts?
Yes.
We made our own shirts.
Oh, yes. Can you tell us about your shirt?
I made my shirt like how volcanoes erupted in the past
Okay.
and in the present.
And how is it different?
Because there wasn't any buildings around back in the time. And now it's more destruction because there's more buildings, and then it can fall down.
Excellent. That's excellent. So, Carlos, thanks for talking with us. Good morning. Name?
My name is Alexander.
Alexander. And you are in what grade, Alexander?
I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. And from your looks, you work in a volcano project.
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us about your volcano project?
Yes, well, we created a volcano out of paper mache and newspapers. And we made it erupt here with dry ice and water.
Excellent.
And we used vinegar and baking soda for another volcano.
Excellent. And you had a volcano that you learned about, right? A specific volcano?
Yes.
Did you want to tell us about that?
Yes, it's in St. Kitts. It's called Mount Liamuiga.
And there's something very nice I learned about that volcano, that it looks different, right, from other volcanoes.
Yeah, it has a beautiful rainforest around it, making a habitat for other animals.
Fantastic. Is there something that you what was the best part of this whole week? What did you enjoy the most?
That we got to make a volcano out of paper mache.
Yes, building the volcano and making it erupt. That was truly fun. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for sharing it with us. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
What's your name?
my name is Harper,
Harper.
and I'm in 4th grade.
You're in 4th grade. And you want to tell us about your project? And you can tell us about your shirt.
Well, I was also in my shirt. I decided to use my hand, and I decided to make my hand kind of like an island, and then use one of my fingers as like a volcano.
Wow, that's very creative. I love it. Love it. And what part of the project were you involved in?
I was involved in a lot of the project because me and my group, which was Alex, another person named Sadie Isabel, and Elvin and Isabella, and we all built the stratovolcano that we used to
Okay.
in the exhibition.
Can you tell me how the project was developed? The teacher gave you the idea,
Yes, the teacher gave us the idea.
and then once you got the idea, you got together in a group,
Mhm.
and then you were given instructions on how to work the project, or you all started chipping in ideas on how to make it
Well,
happen?
at the beginning, the teacher was like kind of helping us. Then after a little bit, she started like giving us less stuff, and then we had to find most of the information.
So you did do research about volcanoes, and then you sat down with the teacher and then developed the plan and built it.
Mhm.
Excellent. And did it make you very curious about science even more?
Yes.
You think this made you want to do something with science in the future?
Mhm.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Harper.
You're welcome.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for breaking in and doing all those interviews with the students. And now we have, they're more in the field of architecture and engineering, which is part of the STEAM, science, technology, engineering, architecture, and math that the students have been working on. And so Ricardo and Priscila, they are parents here at the school. And Ricardo Alvarez, who is an architect, Priscila, who is an engineer. Mr. Alvarez presented to the students this week, and he has his own take on the importance of STEAM in the elementary school. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. Maybe you guys can switch.
No.
Wait, switch chairs. I'll help you.
Okay.
You can do that. I'll put it up a little bit higher for you.
Sorry. Well, hi. Yes. Thank you for having us here. We a couple days ago I had a chance to actually present to the students from 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade about the importance of STEAM. I was telling them that they're lucky because they had a chance to actually do all this fun stuff and how to they can interconnect all the different elements of STEAM, science, engineering, math, arts, and technology. In my case, we didn't have that. I'm a little older than them. So when I was their age, I had Lego. So in a way, Lego for me represented what STEAM is today, because you had technology, you had obviously math, you had you have to be creative, and you have to understand science. So for if you're going to build a little building out of Lego, you have to make sure that the bottom of the building is a little wider so it doesn't fall down. So those skills in a way help me in my chosen profession, which is architecture. And I can tell you very quickly how those five elements can help anyone in if they choose to become an architect.
And it's funny because when I presented it, I made a mistake and I said architecture and math,
Mm.
and it's art and math.
Oh, there
But
you
for
go.
me, architecture has always had that artistic element,
Right,
because it's not just about building a building that won't fall down,
right.
but also making something that's aesthetically beautiful, right?
Well, it's more than that. To be fair, it's about the way I see it is kind of like the soul of a building instead of how it looks, because in a way, styles change all the time. I'm pretty sure that if you see a picture of me 20 years ago, I'm gonna be a little judgy of what I chose to what I was wearing at the time, or even my haircut. So things change, and that's basically part of the aesthetics of things. But so you have to go a little deeper. I mean, what you really are, who you are as a person. So the combination between metaphysics and physics are important.
Wow, excellent.
So
So you were going to say how you saw that the five elements.
oh, sure. I'll say very quickly. And for example, when if you start with science, in architecture as well as engineering, you have to take into account the physics of things. In our case, we look at wind. We look at in the case of earthquakes, the same thing, lateral and vertical, physical elements. If you move to engineering, that's fairly obvious. I mean, we can't work without working as a team with an engineer. Engineers deal with the structure, with the mechanics, with the plumbing, with the electricity. I mean, electrical, civil. I mean, there's so many things, and that's why STEAM in a way works well, because it forces you to work as a team. If you go to technology, I mean, nowadays the technology is hugely important for us to build buildings. We from things are that seem to be play, like a visual. Building things out of 3D models, or visual reality. It's useful. We use it in our company. I mean, you have to walk around the buildings, and then this technology allows us to show the client before we even build something how the experience could be inside. If you go to engineering, I mentioned that. If you go to math, I just want to be clear about this, because some people are a little afraid of architecture because of the potential math elements. And math is nothing more than, in our case as architects, it's understanding proportion. It's understanding geometry. So if you have a good sense of geometry, I mean, you shouldn't be worried about many of the other issues. That's why we have very good engineers like Priscilla that are basically going to lead us through this process. And then, of course, art. You have to be creative. You have to be aesthetically pleasing in a way, and you have to be and in a way you have to make sure that you add that what I mentioned before, the element of the soul, what's within, and that's why I think it's so important that what you guys are doing here with the STEAM program, because it not only helps my profession, it really helps students for professions that do not exist yet. And I can tell you just a little number, and I'll promise I'll shut up. It's 25% of all the professions we know today are going to be gone in the next 10 years. So
correct.
if you are teaching people the traditional way, which is memorizing things and so forth,
Right.
you're going to find yourself ill-equipped 10 years from now,
Right.
because you're not going to be able to use the critical thinking skills, the teamwork skills, and so forth, that it's going to actually help you be a professional in a field that does not exist yet. So I congratulate you guys. This is awesome. My kids are having a lot of fun, and I wish I could have done that when I was their age. So.
Yeah, and you were talking a little bit about how the kids having this opportunity. I think the key is having these opportunities early on, because the more that and it's interesting that we're coming back to the concept of play, of imagination, of creativity. And when you have the opportunity to have kids, grapple with engineering or stuff, and you make it playful, interactive, collaborative, it just takes away that fear that you were talking about, because half the stuff we don't do because we're afraid of it, and we haven't had the chance to test it out. I can be a testament to that, because radio can be very intimidating, and as you were saying, these technologies that are developing now are just making it easier and easier for us to do stuff. It's so much more accessible. So thank you so much for participating and encouraging the kids to pursue.
It was terrifying. I have to
pursuing
tell
those
you, well,
interests.
I could present to anyone, but when I saw the kids and they were not laughing at my jokes, as my daughters were there, so it was the horrible dad jokes.
Right.
So, but it was fun. So thank you
Yeah,
so much.
No, okay. And now we have Priscila. She's an engineer. She's also a mom. Um, I mean, what could you tell us about the impact that you've seen perhaps in your own daughter with the activities that have been happening this week?
So good morning. I'm Priscila Anduesa. I am a mechanical engineering background. I currently work in the medical devices industry. So it's a little interesting because, like you were saying, when we were little, I mean, we thought about engineering like this big profession, and we didn't even know what it was. We thought math, science, but you don't know the applicability at the end. And like currently, right now, I work for a company that we are saving lives every 5 seconds. So I mean, that's super, important for the soul, because you put meaning to your work every day. And today, when I saw the presentations for my 4-year-old, I was looking at her, and they were doing like some buildings, if they were in like a deserted island, and how they were going to be surviving, and all the thought process they were putting into it. They were doing like a round house, because the wind will not blow the house, because the wind will go over it. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, she's in 4th grade, and she's already thinking about fluids. We're studying all these things when we're in college, and they're already in 4th grade, and they're thinking about it, not putting, not maybe thinking that they are doing it, because they're just playing and they're making the house out of tape and other materials. So it's so interesting that they're starting from so early in the process. I also support here in St. John's. I bring students they are taking the class of engineering, and I bring them to my company, and they see the manufacturing floor, and they see the applicability of engineering. And of course, it's super different than the books. So it's very good that this school is they get involved in how the kids develop, and what they are, how they can decide what they want to do. It was a lot different in our times. We were like looking at papers and books, and thinking, well, would I be doing this for the rest of my life, not knowing what was in the other side of
Right,
those
all the possibilities.
Exactly.
And as a woman in science
Mhm.
and engineering, and having daughters that
Yes.
come to the school,
Mhm.
what is your take on perhaps what is still, that we still have to do in terms of exciting and encouraging girls to be more involved in science?
I think that they just need to know what is out there, and I understand. I totally agree. Also, in the terms that what was before will not be after. Like, for example, in our time, where mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer engineering, industrial engineering, now they have biomedics and bioindustry, and I mean, there's a bunch of other. So I think that, especially for girls, that they are also very creative. And I see that now. Like my oldest daughter, they did like hygiene experiments. They were doing soaps, and that's engineering as well. I mean, that's chemistry right there, and they don't know it. They're just having fun. They think they're just making a mixture and just putting it there to make it soap. But I think that just getting them involved, and I think also looking at like us women that are leaders in these type of companies, that we are changing lives, and our voice is heard as well in the industry. I think that showing them, and they can see firsthand. I think that's the best they could experience.
Okay, well, I want to thank both Priscila
Thank you.
Anduez and Ricardo Alvarez for being parents and being so involved and helping us push this week forward.
Thank
And
you.
I will be bringing in, The daughter needs to come. The daughter. Okay, quédate, Priscila. Vente aquí. Eh, okay, wait, hold on. One at a time. One at a
Sure,
time.
that's fine.
Okay. So how serendipitous that you happen to be coming into the station when your mom was just talking about engineering. Okay, in your case, both your parents are scientific, right? Because
Yes.
tell me a little bit about what your dad does, and then I want you to tell me how does it feel to be in a household or to have parents that are scientifically minded.
Well, my dad works in the school, but he also has a diploma, I think, of physics. So like having parents that work with engineering is pretty fun because like in science they help me if I had any questions, and in math too.
Okay.
You can tell her when you went to the place I work at, you saw
Oh yeah, I went to Mectronico in one year.
in what
We
time?
were in what year was it?
I think it was like 2 years ago.
Well, yeah, 2 years ago I went to work and we like it was a bring your kid to work day and we were just exploring around Mectronic. It was pretty big. That place is like very big, working with a lot of stuff at the same time.
And what do you think about this whole week that you've been doing? You've had the opportunity to choose a specific project, a specific discipline to explore. Tell me a little bit about what you chose and what you did this week.
Well, I chose hygiene products. Basically, what we're doing there is figuring out what products are harmful for the environment and trying to figure out another way we can make them, but make them like nicer for the environment, friendly for the environment. And basically, we first did like a lot of research. It was like 3 days of research, and then we started making the products, and then we had to come up with a name for our company and then a name for our products.
Okay, awesome. And so, Priscila, I'm going to have somebody else who was in the same group as her. Were you in the same group, the hygiene group? Come on in. So, Paola was talking about how in her particular project, the products that you guys were producing had to be harmless to the environment. What were some of those specific things that you found out that are harmful to the environment, and what are some of the substitutes that you
Well,
guys had to use?
we had it to be divided in four groups because four groups had to do different products. And me and Paula took the deodorants. So when we were like searching up like how we cannot make it harmful to the environment and like make it for people to not harm their skin either, it was really hard. It was very complicated because every single deodorant, like every single one, has a very chemical, like a very harmful chemical. So it took us like 3 days to search up. We searched it up. We found edible ones because it was like we had to make edible bar deodorant because we didn't have time to make a deodorant like to make a push up, so we had to use like a bar. And then when we searched up, we could have like it had like to use like baking soda maicena, and then every time that we had to make it, everything was wrong, or we had a mistake, or we had to make it better. So it took us like time to make it, and then we got able to make it, and now we can make it, and we can.
You know, you said a key word that the ingredients had to be edible.
Yes.
How? What is that criteria to know that something is edible? I mean, what did you kind of that edible means what?
Edible means like a product that does not have to be food, but if you put it in your mouth, it doesn't cause any poisoning or something in your mouth. Like you can just eat it, but it's not really like a food. It can be
Okay,
like a
so the
product.
food that we eat is organic. It
Yeah,
comes from
edible
earth,
plants,
right?
yeah.
So it has to be something that is organic, right?
Yes.
Not everything that's organic is good for us, but you know that's kind of the first step. So what's really important would you say for people to be aware of when they go and buy a product? What should they be? What is the first thing they should do when they get a hold of a product?
They should be aware of the ingredients because if it's like something like they want to buy a new shampoo or a new conditioner or a body lotion, it's not you can't just pick a random one, because what happens if they put like a mistake, or like the ingredients that it has is allergic to your skin. You have to pay attention to what it is, and if you're not sure of what these ingredients are, you should not really buy it. You should buy a product that you're aware of, or like a doctor recommended you, because you can't just use something that can harm your skin.
Okay. In your case, could you say that there was a particular a product that you used that you realized that you shouldn't be using, and now you're going to use something else?
Yes,
Tell me about it.
it was the soaps, because every time I buy a soap, I buy like this different kind, and my mom like never really pays attention to what it is. Like I always pick a random one, and it just like I actually buy the soap of the essentials, like of the smell, and that's the only one I bought. But now that I figured out this whole experience of how to make it, I changed it, and now I buy a different one, or I just make a homemade one because I couldn't know how to make it. So it was really weird at first because I didn't know how to do it, but now I actually do.
Okay, so you're going to be using your own products, right? And
Yes.
sharing it with us. Okay, so I would love if some of you could go out and get some more kids for me.
Sure.
That would be really cool because I want to know what other exhibitions are being presented today. So if you take a look at one of our cameras, the camera is pointing at the exhibit. During the first part of the exhibit, we had the third and fourth
Hi.
grade students presenting their projects. And then we have now the fifth and sixth grade students. So we're back here at sjspr.radio. We have a student who also presented for the hygiene products. Tell me, Monica, about your experience and how did this week go for you?
Honestly, the week was actually really fun because we had to learn about how basic cosmetics and hygiene products that we use cause harm to the environment, and like we use them every single day, and we don't know what type of harm it's causing to our home, basically.
Tell me a little bit about how you, once you had the products, how did you determine how you were going to present it? What were the thoughts that you had to discuss with your team on the name, on how you would package it?
Oh, okay. On the name, we had like an extreme debate. It was kind of harsh because everyone wanted like these names, and they were kind of weird. But then Miss Diaz had to choose the names since we were fighting so much.
Okay, tell me about it. Tell me about the name and what thought
The
went
name
behind
is
it.
HOP. It's called HOP, Hygiene Organic Products, and I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
we wanted a new hub, but it was already taken by another store. So we just changed the last letter because it was hygiene unique beauty, but now it's hygiene organic.
Okay.
We wanted to create a brand that was eco-friendly and cruelty-free, since like all these big corporations test on animals and use harmful chemicals. We wanted to create something different. And I mean, it's even more special because we're kids and we're trying to make a difference.
Okay. What recommendations would you give to next year's STEAM students that do STEAM week? Like, tell me a little bit about the challenges you had and, what they,
The writing.
okay.
We had, yeah, and making the deodorants and the products, because some of the things that we bought had like chemicals in them, so we had to like change it, and the packaging had to be like recyclable, and everything had to be eco-friendly. So it was kind of hard to get, since everything was more expensive
Okay. If you had to
and we had a
change,
budget.
if you had to change, if you had to change anything, how it, that you kind of know that for the next time you would improve, what would be one of the things that you would improve?
Working as a team. Working as a team and not like exclude each other, because everyone has to participate and everyone has to have one job, because if not, it won't work as well as when you have everyone together. It has to be, because if you exclude someone, one part may not be done and it can ruin everything.
Yeah, that it was a lack of communication because one person would work on one thing and they would forget about the other thing, and then we wouldn't work together. It was kind of a mess, but
Okay.
it was actually really fun. And then in the end, we got everything to work, and yeah,
It feels good, right?
it feels really good.
When you present something and that you know that you've worked on it together.
Can you bring a little bar of soap so we can see
Yeah, can
Isa,
yeah. So she's gonna go and get one of the products. I think that'll be really nice to share that
we
with
made
our audience.
deodorant.
it? Yeah.
Our deodorant was special because we were having so much trouble making it because like shaping it, it couldn't be in like a tube. It had to
Okay.
be a bar,
Okay.
and then it would be like soggy and
So you had the limitations, right? That you had
Yes.
to deal with. You can show it right here. This little camera right here.
Okay, this is the soap that one of our it's called Winter Jelly. It has clear 100% organic melt and pour with a peppermint essential oil and vegetable red coloring.
Okay. And you know what? I like how it's shaped almost like a.
Yeah, they took a while shaping it, but they
It's
did
like a
really good.
squid.
It's almost shaped like a mushroom, right? Or some kind of a flower. How did you get it to be that color?
It's a vegetable coloring. We had to find it. It took a while to find it.
Okay. So I really thank you for being on sjspr.radio.
Oh yes, thank you. You are awesome.
You are awesome
Yes.
too. And we have some more guests, some parents that have come to also share their experiences on this week. And we will be inviting them to come and speak to us. Thank you, girls, for coming. And go tell other people to come.
Okay, thank you, Miss. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay.
En aquella.
Ronnie después quiere venir conmigo para él decirlo conmigo el tema de
Sí,
su
sí,
experiencia.
sí,
¿Puede
vete.
venir?
Sí, búscalo. Venga. Ok, le voy a ayudar un poquito con el micrófono.
Está bien ahí, está bien ahí. Sigue, sigue,
Ahí,
sigue.
ok. Buenos días.
Buenos
Mi
días.
nombre es Miss Álamo. Soy la coordinadora aquí de la estación de radio. Y hoy es un día bien especial para nosotros porque hay mucha actividad aquí en el Media Center relacionado a la semana de STEAM, que es la semana de las ciencias para los estudiantes que estuvieron haciendo proyectos. Dígame su nombre y cuál es su conexión con este proyecto o estudiante que esté en la escuela.
Sí, pues mi nombre es Mira Pérez, yo soy la mamá de Mónica García, la que acaba de hablar aquí.
Perfecto.
Que estuvo bien emocionada, o sea, ella últimamente todo es orgánico, todo tiene que ser inclusive lo que ella come, nada, ella no come carne, ella no come, todo tiene que ser vegetariano, y ella está muy consciente del daño que está causando el ambiente, lo que estamos haciendo, y entonces esto ha venido como anillo al dedo para ella, el saber que estos productos también influyen, y lo que consumimos, lo que estamos usando, crema, sea lo que cualquier cosa la ha concientizado a ella más al respecto. Y esto ha sido un proyecto divino de la escuela.
¿Cómo fue para usted la experiencia de la ciencia en comparación a quizás lo que usted está viendo que su hija está haciendo? Cuénteme un poquito sobre eso.
Nada comparado con esto. O sea, nosotros, bueno, obvio, en aquellos tiempos no teníamos como estar tan consciente del daño que estábamos haciendo, ¿verdad? Y en sí era pues natural, lo que todos hemos aprendido siempre, los átomos, neutrones, todas estas cosas, pero nada en sí como lo que ustedes están haciendo aquí. Así que los felicito.
Qué bueno. Tenemos ahora también otro invitado, si usted se puede presentar.
Yo me llamo, a ver, ¿dónde? Por
Si
aquí.
puede hablar un poquito.
Hola, pues yo me llamo Alan Crumley, soy el abuelo de Jorge Julián Amadeo. Jorge Julián Amadeo está en 5º grado y me invitó para que viera un puente que él y 3 de sus compañeros hicieron. Como yo soy ingeniero civil y electricista, pues él quería que viera su obra, y la verdad que los felicito a ustedes por llevar a cabo este tipo de gesta. Está muy bien hecho.
¿Qué tipo de conversaciones ha tenido con su nieto en relación a cómo le ha impactado la semana? Porque es algo distinto, ¿verdad? Que ellos han estado haciendo con horarios diferentes.
Claro, él está bien consciente de la importancia de la ciencia, la tecnología, la matemática en la vida moderna. y como yo siempre le he dicho, pues él tiene que aspirar a hacer lo que él quiera, sea ingeniero, sea médico, sea la profesión que él quiera tener, comerciante, lo que sea, pero que siempre las ciencias en la vida moderna pues son importantísimas. Hay que estar educado en las ciencias para poder tomar decisiones correctas, ciencias y matemáticas, que es el impulso, entiendo yo, de esta semana, Science, Technology, Mathematics, ¿no?
¿Alguna anécdota que me pueda contar sobre cosas que usted ha podido impartirle a él sobre la ciencia, que haya surgido, ¿verdad?, en la relación de ustedes? Que quizás él tenga esa venita de interés por la construir y todo lo que él hizo por usted.
Bueno, es que siempre que hemos tenido conversaciones que durante toda su vida hemos hablado de la importancia de la matemática y de la ciencia en la vida. O sea, todo lo que tenemos hoy en día pues, es un producto de décadas y de siglos realmente de enseñanza de ingeniería y matemática. O sea, sabemos que la ciencia hoy en día tiene un impacto brutal sobre todas las actividades humanas. Y hoy en día pues, nos damos cuenta tristemente que tenemos un problema ambiental serio por la preponderancia del carbón, que entonces hay un dilema de cómo atacar ese problema. Y es un problema donde los matemáticos y los ingenieros ciertamente tienen mucho que aportar porque son los que tienen los conocimientos técnicos para dar las soluciones.
Si usted puede remembrar un poco, ¿cómo fue que usted se interesó en la ciencia? ¿Tiene alguna memoria en particular de, no sé, el momento donde se le prendió el bombillo y decidió, esta es la dirección que yo quiero seguir?
Bueno, lo que pasa es que mi padre también era muy tecnológico y le gustaba la tecnología, y creo que es lo que yo le imparto a Jorge Julián, a mi nieto, que él, como él ve que me gusta la tecnología, yo le explico la importancia, o sea, por qué un bombillo se prende, pues yo le explico que eso es electricidad, y que es la electricidad, pues yo se lo explico. Y mira ese puente, porque un avión vuela, pues el avión vuela por esta razón. En vez de ver el avión porque sencillamente vuela, pues le explico a Jorge Julián, bueno, el avión vuela por esta razón, el puente no se cae por esta razón, el edificio se mantiene de esa forma por esta razón, y son razones que tienen que ver con matemáticas y a la larga la ingeniería, que la ingeniería lo que es la aplicación de los científicos prácticos para la utilización de la humanidad.
¿Alguna pregunta que él le haya hecho recientemente que tenga que ver con esa misma sentido de curiosidad que usted me está hablando, de ver las cosas y decir, ¿por qué tal cosa?
Bueno, me ha preguntado cómo se hace un túnel por debajo del Canal de la Mancha. Que eso sería un problema sencillo que tomó unos cuantos siglos en resolver. Pero ¿por qué lo pregunta? Porque hemos tenido conversaciones que, como diríamos en inglés, one thing leads to another, ¿no? Siempre estamos hablando del tema.
Sí, que realmente, como quien dice, experimentación surge de la pregunta primero, ¿verdad? Que es lo que uno quiere investigar.
Para ti pasó algo similar con lo que nos estabas contando, de que ella está obsesionada ahora con las cosas que ver con, lo mencionó ahorita, ¿no? Que decía, ella compraba el jabón.
Sí, no, siempre es una curiosidad para ella. Ella siempre quiere saber que, o sea, por qué, como bien dices tú, ellos tienen curiosidad ahora mismo de cómo son las cosas y por qué. Porque este jabón es más suavecito que el otro, porque dice avena, porque es de avena y no es el regular. O sea, es como que es una curiosidad que ella tiene una obsesión con las mascarillas para la cara, porque she's breaking out, porque ella, sus poros se están corrompiendo, pues es por el material que tiene la máscara o la crema que ella se está poniendo. Y yo, no, mi amor, eso se llama pubertad. Pero, ¿me entiendes? O sea, son cosas que levantan la curiosidad.
Sí.
Uh-huh.
O sea, que realmente todo...
No es como el Canal de la Mancha. Pero algo así.
Sí.
Por esa misma línea también.
Curiosidad.
La curiosidad. Pudiéramos decir que todos los días estamos aprendiendo, ¿no?
Claro.
Y estamos haciendo preguntas y nos estamos cuestionando las cosas. Y qué lindo que ustedes puedan compartir eso con sus hijos y sus nietos. Así que le agradezco de sobremanera que hayan venido para acá.
Gracias.
Encantado, muchas
Y voy a
gracias.
ver si
Mucho
puedo
gusto.
agarrar un par de gente más que nos venga a hablar. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, nos vemos.
Okay. Hi, this is just sjspr.radio, and I'm here with another parent. So we're celebrating STEAM Week, science, technology, engineering, art, which I corrected in the last segment, and mathematics. So present yourself and tell me a little bit about your impressions of how this week has impacted your son, or in general, what conversations have you been having about centered around STEAM?
Oh, well, great. Thank you. So I'm David Bogatee, and I'm a fifth grader. And I think the week has been great. I mean, it's in general, school is boring for my son. And this week he came home with stories about building and what he's learning and how it relates to how he's using math and science to build something real. So it was really exciting to have him wake up actually looking forward to going to school and class. And so that was really nice. A really exciting change.
So it's great to change the pace every once in a while, right?
It is. And I think as much as change the pace, I think what really works with this, at least for my son and what I've seen, is it's not just abstract academic learning from a book. It's actually putting the learning to use and letting them physically build something that when they're done, they have a result. And, you know, I think in now and kind of this world where they get barraged with reality every day, now they get to use their learning to create something real. And I think that makes the learning more relevant.
Were you surprised at the choice that he made in terms of the project, the specific project that he wanted to work on?
You know, interesting. So he built a catapult and ballista, and no, that is like exactly perfect for him and what he was to build. He's a boy, so he enjoys things that cause damage, break things. So for this, exciting from the beginning.
Yeah, hopefully eventually you'll learn how that can maybe be used for some good, right?
Well, you know, there's always that hope.
Not just damages, right?
Like he could be a demolition expert,
yeah,
you know.
Right. That's awesome. So do you have an anecdote or anything in particular that a question that he came with when he went home and talked about this week, or something that he said, oh, I found out about this, something?
You know, actually, it may not quite be related to that, but yes, I mean, I find interesting the dynamics of, because it's not just building it, it's working in a team. And the dynamics around that were as much part of the learning as I think the science and the STEM, the relationships. They were hard, they're challenging, you know, and particularly at this age, kids' attention, they work at different speeds, levels, interest levels, and how to manage that. So I think it's critical to the learning. I think, you know, seeing what we've seen, next step may be getting, you know, teaching is changing and it's different. And maybe a next step would be working with teachers to improve the ability to work on relationship skills. And when there are, you know, conflict resolution, and add that in as part of the learning.
Right. So I mean, STEAM is not just preparing these kids for the work, right? The work, possible work fields in the future. But as a society, I mean, one of our main problems is being able to work together to solve these huge problems we have ahead of us. So it's almost like you would have to have that extra letter in STEAM,
Right.
maybe C for collaboration, or C for community, or because really, I mean, the more we think about it, every time we think of science, we might think of the famous scientists, but there's always like a huge team behind anything that you do that is
Yeah.
that is big, has a lot of people behind it.
No, I think you bring up a great point, and I think now too, in particular, there's not as much relationship skills because so much is digital and electronics, and relationships happen virtual. So to get people face to face working on issues at a young age, I think there are skills that are critical that we have to learn. I mean, to me, I think seeing this here, it gives me ideas of what we could create and build in the public system here too. Because I think the same thing. It's what the issues and the opportunities here and what excites kids here is gonna overlap there too. So I think they're. It's really important what you're saying about building that part of learning. I think it's a part today that we didn't have so many distractions. It's so much like schools. So it wasn't something you thought about. You were together with kids, and that's what you
There
do.
wasn't any other choice.
There wasn't any other choice. So that's what you do. And so now we're faced with an issue and the problems that electronics brings so many opportunities and great things, and it uncovers some of these issues that I think schools now we have to see and look at and develop if we're about holistic style education.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. And we're going to go hunt for more students and parents and teachers. So we'll be right back. This is sjspr.radio. Hello and welcome back to sjspr.radio. We are continuing our coverage of the STEAM Week elementary third through sixth grade presentations. And we're here at the secondary library. And if you can see later on in the footage, you'll see that there are tables and parents and students all out there very excited about their projects. You're in sixth grade.
Yeah.
Tell me about STEAM Week and tell me about your process in choosing your project, developing it, and then finally presenting it.
Well, at first, weeks like a month before STEAM Week, we got a paper, and we needed to fill out from 1 to 10 which ones you would like want to have. And for my first one, I really wanted to do hygiene, and for my second, I really wanted to do tiny house. And as a matter of fact, I got a tiny house, which was my second, and I still loved it. It was the first 2 days were really fun. We like going in our groups, like getting to know the people from other grades. In my group, I had lots of friends, and I met new people too. It was really great. And then the second day we started with our projects. It was kind of stressful because for us, we in our project we needed to count about we added like math because we needed to put perimeter area. It was really fun. Actually, in the second day, because not that many people knew perimeter and area, we needed to like a little like Kahoot. It was like extremely fun.
Okay, so what appealed to you about doing a tiny house project?
Well, I've seen lots of like tiny house like shows, and it's like they're really adorable in a way. And like you can move them around and stuff. Like, and for people, like they're less expensive. And like what appealed to me in this project is that it's kind of hard designing a tiny house because you have to count about the space you take up, how people can live, like what you put in, what you actually need, the necessaries, and what you actually don't need in a regular house. And like it's and like how people go through all this work, and people look at it and like, oh, it's really easy and stuff, but it's actually not easy at all, but it's really fun.
Okay, well, thank you so much for telling us about your week. And we have some parents here in the studio that would also want to share with us. So Tatiana, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Bye.
And now we have a parent. I'm going to ask you to present yourself, and you can come with your daughter. Okay, and something that I'm very excited about is that we've been having a lot of mothers and daughters come to us to talk about STEAM Week. So for me, that's like amazing that the girls are strong and really involved. Present yourself and tell me a little bit about how the STEAM Week has impacted you at home with like questions or conversations.
Hi, my name is Dr. Janira Pagan Carlo, and I'm Alana Carlo, Brianna, Alexandria, and Lara Victoria Carlo's mom. So I come from the field of science, and it's been great to see the change. Like when I was growing up, I wanted to be a woman of science, and it was a lonely field. There was not a lot of women around. It was sort of a boys' club. And finally, I did medicine, and I did a research fellowship in translational research. And again, it was quite a lonely pathway for girls. Now I see here that the girls are very invested. Even college applications have changed. We see more representation both of women and also minorities in the STEAM. So I'm really thrilled to see that. And Lara, we call her the engineer of the house because anything that gets broken or needs to be figured out, she definitely is the person to go. So I'm really proud of them, and they're very excited.
Tell me a little bit about what was the last thing she fixed at home?
So we were assembling a new sofa, was it right? A new sofa, and it was, the sheets were like 15 pages, and they were like the furniture, the blueprint, right, was huge. So we definitely needed our house engineer, and Lara came in. She actually picked up the tools that she needed, and she assembled the whole furniture piece on her own.
Okay,
So
great. So I would like to hear what your impressions have been this week.
It's been really good. I've learned a lot about things, and I was in crime scene investigation, and it's super fun. We got to learn about how we can collect evidence, how to secure the crime scenes, and how investigators work, which is like it's really good to share the passion for foresting.
What was your biggest challenge in your project? Tell me a little bit about what the project was and what were some of the challenges.
So basically, they gave us a crime scene, so we would make scenarios. So then we would make, my teacher would make them like in real life, so then we could solve them. And we would have to pick out the suspects, and then we would make activities of how like chains connect, and the importance of the chain of custody or stuff like that.
How many times did you have to change who the suspect was? I mean, did you?
Many times.
Okay.
Because the variations like are really different.
Okay. So thank you so much for coming and for sharing your experience. And it seems like it was a happy week and a week full of learning. So we're going to be right back. And this is sjspr.radio. And stay tuned. We have more conversations.
There you go.
Hi, we're back. This is sjspr.radio, and we have people who were in charge of coordinating and working with the teachers and developing this whole idea of having a STEAM week. So tell me a little bit, Jolie, about it. How did the idea come? Was this something you were thinking about for a while? And again, maybe tell me a little bit of the challenges also. And
Well, I want to start out by saying, as everyone knows, our head of school is a very has a vision towards education, right? And with the leaders of the school, has always wanted to see our students continue to grow. Our student population has changed a lot. So teaching strategies and styles also with time has had to change. And STEAM Week, teaching and learning through projects, is one of Lorraine's big ideas. So we wanted to make sure that we could add it to our curriculum and make it part of our curriculum. So we decided to take the challenge of having STEAM Week towards the end of the semester, because it was a good way to assess the many skills that the students learned throughout the semester. And it was a good way to close, providing the students with the opportunity of learning a little bit about other areas: science, technology, engineering, math, and see how those subjects in school uh, are part of daily life. So that's how we came up with the idea of STEAM Week. We presented it to our teachers at the very beginning of the semester, And as always, I have a great team that is always willing to take new challenges. And right away, they took ownership of this project and made it theirs. And for the last 2 months, we've been working on a weekly basis to prepare for this big week. And I have to tell you that I'm busting in joy. It's been fantastic. And I get a little emotional. But it's been fantastic because our kids know so much. They have taken ownership of this project and they are just so proud of what they've been doing that today's been a spectacular day.
Okay. So, Don, what were some of the things that you were able to kind of instill in both and the teachers as guidelines or strategies that they could use that would help them through the week, since it's something that's not usually, it's kind of like out of the ordinary?
Sure. I mean, just as Jolie said, project-based learning in STEAM Week was really a vision that our head of school has had for a long time, and Jolie just really took the idea and ran with it. I was sort of thinking, this is something we can look into in the next few years, where we can have this week of projects and you'd be super organized. And at the beginning of the year, Jolie said, now, it's happening now.
Okay, so that was the challenge.
That was definitely a challenge. But over the past few years, we've really adopted our planning practices to be thinking about, what does learning really look like? Does it look like getting an A on a test? Is it being able to memorize a set of multiplication problems or vocabulary words, or even just write an essay about something you read in school? But really, we're moving towards this idea that true learning occurs when you can take the knowledge that you have in your social studies class, science, math, English class, anything, and then apply it to something that's unique and different. So over the last few years, we've shifted our plan, the way that we plan for our lessons, to be more in line with this. But we needed something like STEAM Week to really push it to the next level, where we encouraged our teachers to come up with truly authentic and engaging and different ways for students to display mastery. It would just take them out of the context of, this is a math project, this is a science project. Instead, it's, our what types of bacteria are living in our facilities or on our cell phones, or here's a crime, go solve it. All the way to, hey, we're going to be going back to the moon, so let's design a base. Let's design something that is going to be able to take our astronauts and allow them to stay there for years. Just truly like interesting things that make kids go like, huh. And they don't even know that they're applying all the things and all the critical thinking skills that they have in those courses. And I'd say another shift is that we have incredible teachers. Our teachers show up for our kids every day with high quality lessons and high quality experiences. But also it took a bit for them to step back and be, okay, I designed this project in a way for my students to display mastery, but then how do I engage? Like, what is the appropriate level of engagement? So it truly is the students' work, and just being out there and walking around projects, hearing what the kids are saying that they've done, like, it's theirs. It's 100% theirs.
Yeah, well, now that you're saying, hearing about what's happening, even for us, I mean, we haven't been there the whole week with the kids, but having them come to the station today and hearing how they have in turn learning, are able to express and talk with, the terminology, what were their inquiries and what were their problems. And so it's been really great. I mean, in terms of, it's a testament, to what was happening, that were also able to verbalize it 100%. On their own, with their own words, and they were all enthusiastic. So, it's been fun.
Exactly.
So above all, it has to be fun, right? Fun.
Exactly.
Always. And I think when the learning is truly authentic, it's fun in a way that's beyond just regular enjoyment that you would get from a TV show or something. It's like they truly feel the learning and inspired by it. So I'm really excited about that.
Anything else that you could add to us in your rounds of going to see the projects, things that stood out to you? Maybe situations that were interesting
Well, one of the things that it provides more satisfaction is the fact that when we divided up the groups, we made sure that we would make these students from 5th and 6th grade. So they weren't with people that they normally work with on a daily basis, which also brings this component of the reality of life, right? Where we have to make decisions and in a job or in any other responsibility, we sometimes have to make decisions with people that we don't really know. So this opportunity of having these kids work with different people, it brought out in many of my shots the opportunity to have a voice. So when they were working in these small groups, the combination of students that happened naturally because they had the opportunity to choose which project they wanted.
On interest.
It was based on interest. So they had the opportunity to, and they did not know what group they were going to be working with or what teacher. And it was done purposely so that they wouldn't make a choice in their front time, a teacher they might like more than the other. So until the very first day, they did not know who the teacher or the group, what the composition of the group was going to look like. So with that experience, walking around the tables today, and the variety of students that we have, some that are more outspoken and verbal, those that they tend to be more loners. See them working together, these new relationships. I just had a conversation with one of my students that said, "Thank you for giving me this opportunity because now I have friends in another grade level. My circle of friends have grown." So for me, that it makes me feel full. I'm full of satisfaction and happiness to see, how my kids have taken ownership during this whole week. They would come to my office. "What do you think if we do this? Do you allow us?" I was their facilitator. So I listened to their petitions and I tried to make it real. So if you take a walk around the library today, you're going to see a very proud group of students who have taken ownership of their learning, where teachers have been facilitators. And 10 years down the line, you can ask them, and I bet you anything that they're going to remember everything they learned because it was authentic.
Right. Jolie mentioned something that maybe you can expand on, John, has to do with finding affinities that the kids were able to, through the interest that they had in something, leave us kind of like the more social pressure and really engage in their interest and then find new friendships based on affinities. How else is that fostered? Or the other levels that we could be looking at to have the students engage more in that way?
Sure. I got it. I think like to expand on that, I think we've set a bar now. I think we set something to a different level, not only for the students but for the community. And the St. John's community demands excellence as well as the administrative team. And so I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to expand the scope of the type of projects we offer. I think the projects we have this year are phenomenal based. The kids were allowed to select where they wanted to go based on what they had. But something that's really sticking with me was the conversations from the TED Talks that we had to kick this off. And there's this consistent theme amongst all of the speakers, which was STEAM is one, it's critical, and so it impacts everybody if in their life. We need to, I think, bump up the level of technological engagement that we have in STEAM Week. And so an area I really want to push at for our next round of projects is in the area of technology, in particular coding. So that's something I'm going to start to look into right now for our end of the year STEAM Week, which I think we're already starting to plan, is how do we involve our kids in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade in a level of coding that's appropriate to them and allow them that initial success to see where it slots into their academic interest.
Right. So kind of like pushing the boundaries of the time factor where we're not pressuring everything in these short segmented activities, but that they're
Mhm.
really sustained and ongoing.
Exactly.
So, any other observations you would like to give us, or
Just hats off to teachers for really driving this week after week and making sure that the event went off without a hitch. I think just the way it was structured, starting with just the TED Talks all the way to the displays in the secondary media center, it was a team effort, and it was a beautiful event. And I think I cannot wait to see what's next and how we can support it. So
okay? Well,
it's
thank you so
incredible.
much for being here on sjspr.radio, and we have more parents and more kids, so stay tuned. This is sjspr.radio, and we are back. We are continuing our coverage of the STEAM Week exhibit that has been the culmination of a week long process of projects, explorations, experiments with the students of the elementary from grades 3 through 6. So I'm here now with Ronnie and his mom. And when you come to the mic, you'll present yourselves formally. Ronnie, so tell me, what did you do during STEAM Week?
Oh, so my project was tiny house, and that is basically building a house tinier and has to fit all the customer's needs, specifically for a customer. And but we struggled like through the math that we noticed that we have to do a lot of area, perimeter, and all that stuff. And I really enjoyed it because I love designing. I went to like architecture camp for like 4 years, and it's a pleasure for me.
So you found your moment
Yeah.
to apply everything that you've done in the summer. Like, you do it for the summer, you wish you could do it all year long, and here you have STEAM Week where you can actually do what you love.
When I saw
Architecture.
um it's the designs and the diversity of like the art and how different a structure can be from the other and all that stuff.
When was the first time you kind of like said, "Oh, this is something that I really love"?
Well, I liked art a lot. Like I drew a lot, and one time, like somebody told my mom, "Oh, you should like send them to
Welcome back to sjspr.radio. We encountered some difficulties with the internet, so we're going to retake this interview from the top. I have here in the studio with me Ronnie, who is in 5th grade, and his mom, and he was really excited about STEAM Week, and he's here to talk about why. Why were you so excited for this week?
Okay, so I love architecture and I got tiny house. So tiny house is making a house but like smaller and has to fit the customer's needs. And we encountered like problems that we needed to know when we needed jobs, that you needed to use a lot of math and like engineering and that stuff that we didn't know before. And I really love architecture, designing, and it was a pleasure for me to be with a 6th grade partner, and because the teachers told us that we could choose our partners, but then she was like, you know what, I want you to have an experience of a different thing. So she put me with, well, my partner was Isaac. He's in 6th grade, and then we had a really fun time. He's really funny, and it was really good.
Okay, so when did your passion for architecture begin?
So when I was really little, I loved art and everything. And then one day, a friend of my mom told them, oh, there's like this architecture camp. You should go. And then I went, and that's when I found my passion for architecture. And ever since, I wanted to be an architect.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what did you encounter throughout the week? And what were those new math things that you had to learn in order to solve the problems?
Okay, so in the beginning, it was a little difficult because like we forgot what area and perimeter was, because we studied that in like 3rd grade. And then we had to do like Kahoot and that stuff. And another thing was, how do you design the house? Like if there's like a window, you can't put furniture there because you're going to cover the window. And what can you put outside? How is it going to be functional for the customers and all that stuff?
Who was your customer in your tiny house? What were the needs that you had to?
Well, we created our customer.
Oh, okay.
And there were a couple, and the husband was an expert at pool. So there's like this little pool table outside with like this roof. So like pool tables are expensive, so they don't get wet when it rains.
And you had to place it outside of the house, right? Because it's a tiny house.
Yeah, that was Isaac's idea. And then we had an idea to make like this loft for the person like to sleep in. So like there was like the normal house, and then there was another floor.
Awesome. And this couple was a young couple, an older couple?
A young couple.
Okay.
And that's why they have like stairs, because if it was an older couple, we would have just put it in the floor because it would be harder for them to like reach to the top.
So those are kind of the considerations you have to have in mind, right?
Yeah.
When you're designing. That's awesome. So architecture is about people, really, right?
And like we heard Ricardo, he's Ella's dad. That she's in my grade, and he said that you can't be selfish about it. It has to be about him, about the customer, like whatever, it has to be about them. You can't just like do the house for yourself.
Right, because sometimes as an architect, you'll have very specific ideas on how you would like it to be, but the customer says, no, I don't like blue. I want an arch. I don't want a square, like you have to conform to their needs, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So now I want to switch and talk to your mom,
Okay.
because she is going to tell us how it went for her in terms of listening to you come home and have conversations about what you did during the week. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buen día. Soy Eli, la mamá de Ron y Levi, y realmente estoy disfrutando este proyecto de STEAM que han hecho para esta semana. Bien variado, muchas cosas distintas, desde tiny houses que tiene que ver con proyectos de diseño y arquitectura, hasta algo que tiene que ver con la escena del crimen, averiguar qué es lo que pasó, cosas bien diversas y bien entretenidas, y también que me imagino que tienen que ver con los intereses distintos de los niños, despertar también en cada uno intereses distintos y también cómo ellos también se pueden proyectar hacia el futuro. en sus carreras profesionales. De alguna forma creo que fue como un motivador para muchos niños de lo que pueden hacer también en un futuro.
Cuéntame un poquito sobre lo que dijo Ronnie, de que tuvo la oportunidad de trabajar con niños de otra edad. ¿Qué te pareció eso?
Bueno, me encanta la idea de que hayan hecho el proyecto intergeneracional, que lo hayan hecho, por ejemplo, creo que es tercero, cuarto, y el grupo de Ronnie está en quinto grado, funcionó quinto y sexto grado. A él le tocó trabajar con un niño de sexto grado, y me parece muy importante porque ellos están muy cómodos trabajando con sus pares, con sus amigos, pero el hecho de trabajar en un proyecto tan diferente con alguien que no conoce y de alguna forma también lograr compatibilizar los intereses de las dos personas que están trabajando en el proyecto es algo muy bueno. Más allá del proyecto en sí, de diseño, arquitectura, es también un proyecto de poder trabajar con el otro y de abrir la mente, de escuchar al otro, de respetar las ideas y de agregar, de siempre sumar, ¿no? Digo, uno aporta y el otro también sumar entre los dos, entre dos personas que están trabajando sobre el mismo proyecto.
Excelente. Cuéntame, tengo mucha curiosidad cuando tú te enteraste que él escogió lo de tiny houses. ¿Sabías algo sobre ese tema?
Bueno, mi hijo es fanático de todo lo que tiene que ver con diseño. Y Tiny House es un programa de Netflix, que de hecho él ha visto todos los episodios, y si sale una temporada nueva, seguramente al segundo ve todos los episodios de nuevo, los nuevos episodios. Y creo que también le da la posibilidad de poder trabajar con algo que le apasiona, también de poder pensar realmente cómo estructurar una casa, una casa pequeña, de cómo realmente poder hacer que todo tenga su funcionalidad más allá del tamaño. Y también es una arista bien distinta a lo que trabaja en la escuela. Me parece que es fundamental poder incentivar en los niños no solamente el aspecto académico regular, sino distintas áreas, como por ejemplo también, que me encanta lo que es el proyecto de la radio, quiero mencionarlo específicamente, porque me parece algo espectacular que están desarrollando este año y que da la posibilidad también de hacer llegar a muchas personas los nuevos proyectos de la escuela, las noticias del mundo, de hacer también que personas que les gusta estar en el ambiente de la comunicación, que puedan venir aquí y expresarse, o sea, ser también comunicadores, o también o sea, no solamente comunicadores, sino también hacer investigaciones sobre diferentes temas, no solamente la noticia de hoy en día, sino de temas específicos, y de hacer llegar a todo lo que es el estudiantado, los estudiantes de aquí de St. John's School, diferentes temas, topics o lo que sea. Este proyecto me parece que es fabuloso.
Te quiero dar las gracias, y para mí ha sido un verdadero placer escuchar de las voces de los estudiantes y los padres todo lo que ha sido para ellos esta semana, que muchas veces no tenemos la oportunidad, ¿verdad?, de realmente saber
Sí.
las cosas más específicas, por qué el niño escogió tal tema, qué problemas tuvo en el proyecto, o sea, así que estamos
Sí,
súper
yo solamente quiero decir
agradecidos.
para cerrar una cosa. Creo que esta semana o estas últimas semanas han sido de proyectos bien intensos en las escuelas que de alguna forma destacan diferentes áreas. Por ejemplo, el miércoles fue el concierto de fin de año del coro también, y de la banda de high school. Unió también el elemental con high school, y eso también despierta todo el área artística. También se le da mucha importancia a las artes, y se motiva mucho a los niños en involucrarse en distintas áreas de las cuales uno no se darían cuenta si no se exponen a eso.
Exacto.
Y creo que esa posibilidad de estar en el concierto, en el assembly también que tuvieron hace poco de Performing Arts,
sí.
Se le llamó creo Fine Arts, Fine Art Festival,
Sí, sí.
donde se mostró todo lo que hicieron el año de arte. Están tocando quinto grado la guitarra, y entonces uno veía a todos los niños de quinto grado tocando guitarra. ¿Eso también? Okay,
Sí.
sexto grado también está tocando guitarra también, y obviamente el musical, la parte que habían 4 musicales distintos, como The Sound of Music, Into the Woods.
Annie y...
Annie, ¿cuál hay un cuarto que era bueno, se expone a los niños a diferentes temáticas y creo que ahí ellos descubren cuál es realmente su gusto, cuál es el área donde ellos más se sienten cómodos y donde pueden también desarrollar su potencialidad, que creo que también es súper importante.
Sí. Pues la radio se suma a eso, ¿verdad? A ese visión, ¿no? Que creo que se mencionó mucho, que nuestra escuela está tratando de abrazar más diversidad, más cosas que es, ¿verdad? Que pongan a los estudiantes a diferentes experiencias. Así que te quiero dar las gracias a Ronnie, a ti por estar aquí y que siga con esa pasión. Así
Muchas
que
gracias
cuando
a
yo quiera un
ti.
tiny house, yo sé a quién ir. Muchas gracias
a ti por todo este emprendimiento de la radio que me parece que es fantástico y que va a ayudar a muchos niños también a expresarse.
Ok, pues ahora nos despedimos. This was sjspr.radio. Thank you so much for tuning in today.